Hello guys, today I'll be explaining Ghost Graduation, a 2012 comedy fantasy film. So let's get started. The film begins. And a student stands on the sidelines watching students perform choreographed dance performances. When the song changes, the student notices a girl inviting him to dance. They dance together after he places his hand on her waist. As other pupils observe his strange conduct, the boy reaches out for a kiss. It is discovered that the girl is not present. As soon as the boy recognizes what's going on, the girl reaches out for another kiss. In an attempt to dodge it, the boy leans backwards, only to fall down, and the students continue to humiliate him for what he did. The girl screams at him because she feels embarrassed. She begins to fall over him, but quickly fades away, exposing herself to be a ghost in the process. Years later, the young man Modesto is a teacher and is watching a group of students perform their rap session. They yell insults and dab him with a duster towards the end of their rap, leaving him with a face covered in white powder. From outside the classroom, the principal observes everything and decided to dismiss him. Following that, Modesto sees his psychiatrist, who tells him to accept the truth that people die and are buried underground. The psychiatrist's dead father, who hanged himself in the study, is unhappy with his son's therapy style. Later, while he walks through the streets, Modesto takes his pills. He shouts at a jogger crossing the zebra crossing to warn him of an incoming truck, but it's too late. The jogger is also shown to be a ghost when the truck passes through him. In another classroom, an English teacher is teaching Hamlet to his students and requests that one of the students, Elsa, read a scene from the book. Even when he's speaking, he disapproves of her translation as the bell sounds and his students walk by him. Later, while in the library, he duplicates his book Shakespeare's Hamlet. When he turns around, he sees a skeleton moving in the back, but the skeleton is still hanging on the edge of a bookshelf. When he turns around, the skeleton is no longer visible. It creeps up behind him, startling him and creating havoc. The skeleton places the teacher's head on the photocopier and prints a series of fearful photographs of him. The skeleton moves by itself, causing books and staplers to fly. While the books and other staplers continue to attack the teacher, one stapler stitches him. The teacher is then thrown from the building's top floor as the skeleton watches from the window and laughs loudly. Tina, the school's director, then chastises a student for overeating. As a man calls for her, she takes his cookie and eats it herself. He's disturbed by his daughter's Mother's Day drawing, where the mother is eating a turd and asks to speak with the art teacher. However, he, like the other 8 teachers, resigned last month. Tina politely declines the offer of assistance from the guy Ategi, who is the sole remaining member of the Parents' Association. Tina is then told that the chairlady of her school, Montfort, is waiting for her in the office due to suspicions that the literature instructor is attempting suicide. The board's worry regarding recent events at Montfort is expressed by the chairlady. Tina's assurances aren't enough for him. Tina accepts Ategi's recommendation, but the lady soon silences him and asks that the school be run as a convent by the end of the semester. Tina interviews Modesto later and he lies about being sacked from various schools because they were not good enough. Modesto is then hired at Montfort. He inquires of a girl standing outside a classroom on his route to his first lecture. However, she refuses and flees. After that, he meets a bunch of boys who lead him to an isolated library. He discovers a group of students loitering nearby, who use the same scare techniques as before, such as books, chairs, and the skeleton. However, they soon realizes that he can see them. When Modesto realizes what he's done, he flees and sees images of the 5 students he found in the abandoned library in the memoriam. Tina and the students pursue Modesto, but he gets to flee. Tina is waiting for him in his apartment later that night. Someone accepts what Modesto has seen and assures him that he is not insane. In the memoriam images, Modesto exposes the students he saw, as well as the fact that one of the girls, Marivi, is pregnant. Tina says that she was definitely pregnant when she passed away. Simultaneously, a group of students, including Elsa, are playing with a Ouija board, attempting to summon the ghosts that are already present. Danny and Pink Floyd terrify them and chase them out of the room after they play along for a bit. Elsa, on the other hand, is unafraid of the strategy and stays. She continued to talk with Jorge and inquires about his death. Tina tells Modesto that a Christmas party was held during her father's tenure and 5 of the students were in detention when a fire broke out. Due to the loud music being played, the fire alarm went unheard, killing the students in detention. They hear shouts of terrified students being chased by Danny and Pink Floyd with books and chairs as she explains. She begs Modesto to assist her in convincing the dead pupils to leave the school and assures him that he is not insane. This makes Modesto ecstatic. On his approach to Montfort, Modesto throws aside his pills and assists a jogging crossing the street. He returns to the abandoned library the next day to speak with the dead students, who are ecstatic to be spotted by someone and inquire if they are similar to him. They hang him upside down on a rock climbing wall when he tells the kids to leave the school. At his psychiatrist's office, Modesto begins a conversation with his dead father, who had silently killed himself. Even the father is overjoyed to finally speak with someone and admits that there are ghosts of unresolved issues that they may already be aware of or discover. He goes on to say that in order to move on, the students must finish their senior year and graduate from high school. Only Angela is happy, and she is the only one who is sincere enough to join. When Modesto begins to teach literature, the boys become enraged and pull a nutcracker on him. When Ategi notices this, he returns the way he came. Manuela, the school's receptionist, receives a file on the kids from Modesto, who is icing his swollen nut. They briefly discuss Danny and his violent behavior. Later, Modesto performs songs for the library students, who are excited to discover about mobile phones that can store 1,000 songs. Since they died, Modesto keeps them up to date on what's been going on in the world. Except for Danny, who decides to pass and go on, the students reflect the things they've missed on the rooftop. Elsa is smitten with Jorge elsewhere. When Modesto returns to the library, he discovers that the kids are eager to learn, and Angela is named class representative. Elsa and Jorge form a friendship and begin flirting with one another. Angela stands in the theater, watching kids practice opera for the Founders' Day event. Tina complains to Ategi, who is in charge of all the preparations, about Modesto and his strange behavior. When Modesto comes, he is uninterested in the event and discovers from Danny that it is in fact a memorial to Tina's father. Danny persuades Angela, who has always wanted to join the opera, while discussing. But didn't because no one would listen anyway. He raises the volume on her microphone without her knowledge. The pupils are terrified of the ghostly sounds coming from the speaker and flee outdoors, leaving Angela discouraged. The tension between Danny and Jorge is growing. When Jorge confronts Danny about Angela's death, he retaliates by hurling the live pupil's possessions and breaking Elsa's palm top. Elsa and Jorge continue to flirt with each other on the computer at school. Manuela, on the other hand, arrives and immediately begins to release herself after discovering the flirting texts. When Danny turns up to answer one of the questions, the gang is practicing quizzes. Tina soon arrives with a problem of her own, and Danny mocks Modesto for obeying her like a dog. She adds that the chair lady has accepted Adagi's invitation to the occasion. Tina is worried that, if something goes wrong, she will lose her father's school, but Modesto reassures her. Tina expresses her frustration to Modesto later, while they hang out by the swing. They get closer to each other as they talk. Tina requests that Modesto do something spontaneous, and they choose to dance. All while the students were watching. When she raises her hand for a kiss, Modesto declines and leaves. Days pass as the students continue to learn, practice at the gym, conduct experiments, and improve their grades. Elsa wonders if she should accompany Jorge as he says he might be leaving shortly. Exams are about to begin for the pupils. Elsa arrives to wish Jorge good luck and to tell them that she loves them and that she will see him soon. They take their tests, some cheating, some copying, and all passing with varying grades. Danny, on the other hand, leaves the questions blank, obtaining a D, but Modesto raises his score to a C- and passes him. They glimpse a white light and raise their palms to heaven. The sun's rays are simply striking the window at an angle. The kids resolve to cause trouble when nothing happens. The students terrify everyone, even the recently returning literature teacher. When he confronts the dead psychiatrist again, he realizes that in order to pass on, they must accept who they are. He rushes to the school in search of Tina. Tina, Ategi, and the other parents blame Modesto for everything and terminate him. He tells the kids that they must conclude their business and embrace who they are in order to go forward together as he gathers his belongings from the abandoned library. It's also revealed that Danny was the one who ignited the fire that killed them and that he was afraid of going to hell. Things between Modesto and Tina deteriorated as well. Later that night, the friends keep an eye on sorrowful Danny, who is swinging alone. Next, we meet Modesto at his psychiatrist's office, where he receives therapy and learns that his dead father has always kept an eye on him. He has yet to leave since he does not want his son to be alone. Tina, who has been calling Modesto multiple times, passes Manuela a note to read aloud to the dead students, urging them to meet her at the abandoned library. She says she misses him and wants him back, just like the other students. Manuela is executing a voodoo ritual in order to evict the ghosts from the school. Pink Floyd enters her body just as she's preparing to sacrifice a chicken. The pupils then contact Modesto and request that he visit the school. But they only succeeded to persuade him after telling him Tina loves them. Angela hands Marivi a letter that Marivi's boyfriend, Kemma, had placed in her locker by accident. Pink Floyd snatches the letter, which discloses that Kemma never wanted to marry Marivi and requests that she forget about him. The three hug each other after that. Today is Founders' Day, and Ategi, Manuela, and Tina greet the chairlady. Tina, on the other hand, leaves when she sees Modesto. The students express their regret to Modesto and invite him to return. Ategi is enraged at Modesto's presence before being pelted with footballs from the rooftop. Morivi's Kima is discovered to be Ategi after Modesto calms things down. He threatens Modesto, but Modesto decides to confront him about Morivi, whom he abandoned despite the fact that she was pregnant. The opera has put everyone in the auditorium to sleep, so Modesto asks Angela to wake them up. She takes control of one of the girls and delivers an enthusiastic song that has everyone up and dancing. The concert is interrupted by Ategi. And right before he's ready to make a proposal to the school's principal, Danny takes control of his body and disrespects him in public. Jorge notices Elsa standing on the sidelines, not taking part. Tina takes over to apologize and announce that they will be reviving an old tradition, La Fiesta. Danny asks for forgiveness with his friends and the two men reunite. Jorge goes in search of Elsa, who had drowned in the pool. Elsa sees Jorge when she opens her eyes. He persuades her to leave and promises to see her again in the future. As she fades from Jorge to Modesto, who has been attempting to revive her, they kiss. Jorge, Modesto also tells her, misses her as much as she misses him. Everyone's unfinished business has been completed. Pink Floyd, on the other hand, wants to travel to Paca and party. Tina and Modesto dance, and just as they are ready to kiss, Morivi pulls Modesto away. Pink Floyd is suffering from a hangover. The lights begin to flicker as Morivi's baby begins to kick. The gang holds each other's hands as Modesto believes it is their time. Tina also appears, holding Modesto's hand. They glow and flicker until a white beam of light ascends to the heavens. Elsa, Tina and Modesto stand back and watch. Tina and Modesto finally share a kiss towards each other. The movie ends here. I hope you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below which movie should I recap next.